Hey, what's up, y'all? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. I'm Brendan Avin, your host. To my left, my co-host Rashad Pinnell. To my right, my co-host Khalid Lewis. We're bringing KBR Sports to you every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thanks to y'all that are tuning in today. We have a whole slate of topics for y'all, starting with, the Kevin Durant and Stephen A. Smith situation, then going to the whole NFC East situation, the Colts winning without Andrew Luck, and about the Cardinals losing to the Rams in an upset victory today. Are they still the best of the West? So we'll get right into it with Kevin Durant and Stephen A. So Kevin Durant recently some comments that Stephen A. Smith had made about him, saying that because Stephen A. had initially said that Kevin Durant was, he came on First Take on about Tuesday afternoon and said Stephen A. was, or he said Kevin Durant was interested in going to the Lakers in the offseason when he experienced his free agency. So, along with Miami and Washington, D.C., where Kevin Durant's from, but he said that, don't rule out the fact that he could possibly be interested in going to Los Angeles, where his teammate, Russell Westbrook, went to UCLA and is from. And in a year after Kevin Durant would leave in free agency or could possibly leave in free agency, Russell Westbrook could follow him also. So Stephen A. Smith was reporting the fact that he could show interest in the Los Angeles market and could possibly go to Los Angeles. So then Kevin Durant responds in an exact quote: "I don't talk to Stephen A. Smith at all. No one in my family, my friends do. So he's lying. He made it up." So he pretty much calls out Stephen A. and comes for his credibility. And Stephen A. responded yesterday on First Take. He used a whole 20-minute segment, so I'm gonna have to just kind of paraphrase what he said and summarize it. But he pretty much said that who is Kevin Durant to come out to say that he's lying, and
To
how
attack
does
his credibility.
yeah, and how does Kevin Durant know who he has and has not talked to? Because Kevin Durant might want to recheck with who his close friends and family apparently um, he thinks that Stephen A. hasn't talked to, because over the weekend, Stephen A. even got phone calls from these same exact friends and family telling Stephen A. that, hey, y'all don't need to be beefing over stuff like this. Y'all don't need to have this issue. And Stephen A. pretty much took offense to it because he's like, you're calling out my credibility. And for a journalist, that's all they have. Mm-hmm. So pretty much he summarized, there are a lot of people putting out there that Stephen A. pretty much threatened Kevin Durant. Me personally, I didn't see it as a threat, but he said that you don't want to make it. I'm not your enemy, but you don't want to make an enemy out of me when it comes to this journalism stuff. So I'll start off with you, Rashad. What do you think about Kevin Durant's comments, Stephen A.'s response to it? Like, what do you think about the whole thing, and Kevin Durant just in general, how he's felt about the media in recent weeks?
You see, that's what I was gonna bring up. How he actually feels when the media do come. You know what I'm saying? Like he he's like the Marshawn Lynch of the NBA in a sense, except he speaks. But he speaks because he has to. He explains that he has to speak, so he speaks so he don't get fined. See, Marshawn Lynch on the other hand doesn't speak at all. Mm-hmm. But it's clear to see that Kevin Durant's short-tempered person, especially when it comes to the media. Mm-hmm. When it comes to stuff about his work-related issues, he's short-tempered about it. So I can understand someone who gets mad about someone talking about what they're gonna do, because at the end of the day, he still probably doesn't even know what he's gonna do. So for people to already create stories before the season already come, that which brings complications and drama throughout the season, is what he probably don't want. So him coming for the media, coming for Stephen A. like that, I can understand why he's doing it, what he's doing it for, what he believes is right, what he don't want to talk about. But at the same time, it's still a journalist job or the media's to get the information out for the people to know. Mm-hmm. Even though it's not a year away, 2 years away, 3 years away, no matter how long it is, it's the media's job to get that information out. Mm-hmm. I mean, even when LeBron, as soon as he went to Miami, there was, media trying to figure out, all right, where are you going to next? And he just got there. So, I mean, there's always stuff going on. There's always going to be stuff going on years in advance. It don't matter how close it is. There are always going to be people talking about it. So, I mean, that's just something you have to get used to. I mean, Durant is still technically young, but so Well, he's technically young, so he's. I'm not sure he's accustomed to everybody talking about his career. Like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do when he's just trying to focus on winning a championship with the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Okay, wait. Okay, so Khaled, what do you think about it then? What do you think about what he said?
I do think Stephen A. Smith isn't coming for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, yeah, he doesn't do well with reporters and stuff. His comments, what he said that I don't talk to Stephen A. and my family don't, or my friends. I mean, he just felt like that. He felt like that people were trying to basically say, basically say what his career is going to be, I guess, or if he was going to like take this move to a possible move to the LA Lakers, and he hasn't even thought about like what he's going to do like when he becomes a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen A. Smith made a great point. He said if you didn't sign a contract to the Oklahoma City Thunder for years and years to come, you're basically alluding to the fact that you're going to become a free agent or that you're thinking about free agency.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Kevin Durant felt like he was being attacked, but in all sense, Stephen A. Smith was just reporting what he heard and what he felt like, that what he's been told, that people have been whispering in his ear. And then he says, Stephen A. Smith says that he doesn't have to talk to you to report about you, and that's a fact.
That's true.
That's a fact. As a journalist, you don't really have to go up to the person and be like, "What's going on with your life?" or whatever. This, that, third, especially in sports.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your job as a sports analyst and a journalist, to report on people, even if they don't want to be reported on.
Yeah.
So I feel like Stephen A. Smith, he's in the right position. Just Kevin Durant he just felt like he's being attacked, and he just needs to relax.
But see, for me, I don't even understand where he would think he's being attacked, or where he felt like he needed to come and defend himself. Because it's not like Stephen A. It'd be different if Stephen A. Smith had said something about Kevin Durant's character or something like that. All he said is that you have interest in the Los Angeles Lakers. What free agent doesn't have interest in the Los Angeles Lakers? They're probably
the second biggest market in America.
In America,
it's probably more so the fact that you consider him a free agent. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, but maybe okay, yeah. It's true, but at the same time, maybe you don't want to sign the contract extension right now because he don't want what happened to him, what happened to Damian Lillard.
No, but also, I understand why he's not signing the contract extension right now, because it's more money in free agency if he waits to sign it. It's like a good $20-something million difference if he signs the contract extension now, if he signs it later. So it makes sense for him to wait till free agency. But don't get upset if somebody reports that, or
you're thinking about
it. That you're thinking about going to the Lakers, because when you become a free agent, he said he wants to explore his free agent options. So Kevin Durant could have also came out and said, "Hey, I'm just interested in saying, I'm focused on Oklahoma City right now. I respect what Stephen A. is saying, but I'm just focused on Oklahoma City." You don't have to attack the man's credibility.
But you get when you're not a free agent and stuff like that comes up, you get tired of probably hearing stuff like that. You tired of, because technically to him, Stephen A. is media in his eyes.
Stephen A. is media. But LeBron didn't do the same thing when LeBron was a free agent.
But LeBron isn't like what's the name, Kevin Durant. But they have different personalities.
But it came out of nowhere with Kevin Durant. Like this has been this way. Like in this quote from early in February around the All-Star break, he said, "You guys really don't know expletive about basketball." He said, "To be honest, man, I'm only here talking to y'all because I have to. So I really don't care. Y'all not my friends. You're going to write what you want to write. You're going to love us one day and hate us the next. That's just a part of it. So I just learned how to deal with y'all." That's him talking about the media.
Yeah, that's his idea viewpoint on the media, no matter who it is. So I feel so.
And then he also said, when he talked about like the media is voting towards All-Star and awards, he said, "Yeah, I think the media and guys get too much power to vote on stuff like that. Quite frankly, I don't think you really know a lot about, or as much as we know about it. It as in basketball. So yeah, we play against these guys every single night. We battle against these guys. We know what they say on the court. We know how they handle their teammates. We know how they approach the game. And our votes should count. Our opinions should count. Like I said, I don't think you guys know as much as we do, and I don't see why you have more power than we do." It's been like his whole career has been nothing. The media has done nothing. It'd be different if this was Russell Westbrook, because Russell Westbrook was criticized so heavily throughout the beginning part of his career. And then until this year, people didn't appreciate Russell Westbrook for the player that he is until Kevin Durant was hurt. Kevin Durant has got nothing but love from the media throughout his whole career. So it makes no sense. No, but it makes no, but he's talking about the media as if they done something wrong to him. As if they come at him on the regular, as if they've done something to him. The media is the one that voted him the MVP. He was the reigning MVP when he said this. So you're saying this, you're saying the media doesn't know nothing about basketball, and then you know, granted, yes, he's right that not that the media doesn't know anything about basketball, but basketball players have a different perspective on basketball because they played. But if you're telling me that somebody needs to have played basketball to understand basketball, so what are you going to say about the Spurs owner, general manager? Because they didn't play basketball and they built a championship team. So you're trying to tell me only people that play basketball understand basketball and know how basketball works. Some head coaches, I'm pretty sure, have not played basketball but still understand how basketball works. So you can't just say, oh, y'all don't know what y'all talking about because you don't know basketball. And then Stephen A doesn't even say anything about your character or your anything, but you're going to come for his credibility. And his pretty much what his job is predicated on is his credibility. And Stephen A's been one of the reporters. He's the one that broke the LeBron James coming to Miami story. And he's the one that initially, a year ahead of time, told everybody if LeBron James might come home. I'm warning y'all, he might come home and leave Miami. He said it a year ahead of time. And it ended up being true. And Kevin Durant says that about the media, about y'all don't know nothing about basketball. So he says that at a press conference about Scott Brooks, right? Because he got defensive about Scott Brooks. Said that in February. Scott Brooks got fired in April. So if the media knows nothing about Scott Brooks or about basketball, when they ask you questions about Scott Brooks, it just so happened they were right.
But are you sure the media's power did influence his fire though?
No, I mean
he still was a team. He was like Durant said, he was winning over 65% of their games and everything.
He was.
They always
he was going to
just because. I mean, it's hard to win a championship.
No, it's hard to win a championship, but it's different. It depends on how your team, if your team is progressing or not progressing. The Heat, Eric Spoelstra was never going to get fired because they constantly went to the championship and won a championship. Scott Brooks got to the finals, hasn't been since. Granted, injuries play a part in it, but when when people can notably see that your offense consists of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant just dribbling, and those guys aren't going to come out and say something about their coach. But then when you come for the media's integrity and said they don't know what they're talking about, you're pretty much disrespecting their intellect. And you're saying it's different if you can stand up for your coach. There's nothing wrong with that. You can say, hey, you know, that's my coach, that's my man's. But then when you say that people don't know nothing about basketball and they just voted you the MVP,
basically shooting down what they worked hard to basically do the whole time they're reporting on you and stuff like that. So you're just shooting down their whole research and everything they put into just reporting.
You know what I mean? And so it's funny that the media doesn't know anything about basketball when y'all don't want them to ask you questions about topics you don't like. But then when it comes to things about you guys getting publicity for your fundraisers and for your charities, then you want the media to be front and center. But then when it comes to things like basketball matters, like Scott Brooks getting fired or Russell Westbrook taking a lot of shots, you don't want to talk to the media. Okay. There's two sides to the media. You have to you're gonna get the good with the bad, but it's not always bad. Kevin Durant has had no bad in his career. That's the thing. The only time I could think of anything bad being said about Kevin Durant is when in the finals people were saying he was not aggressive enough, but even people still gave him his credit because he averaged over 30 points and over 50% shooting. So it's like I don't know where it came from for him. It came from nowhere. Like he was on a nice campaign last year and then or 2 years ago, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm getting older now, so I don't feel like I need to be politically correct all the time and stuff. And I mean, that's fine. You're feeling more comfortable to be out there because your star is growing. But don't act like the media didn't help you get to where you are. Because imagine if there was no media and the basketball players just played. Imagine no media and we didn't know nothing about the basketball players. They didn't talk to us at all. Imagine how different that'd be. There's so many nice, great basketball players out there. Imagine there was no media coverage on these same basketball players. Who would they be? They'd just be nice basketball players. They wouldn't be celebrities, right?
Okay, but I mean, one person can't dictate how media be. I mean, just like a media can criticize somebody. Exactly. I feel like Kevin Durant or anybody can criticize the media.
No, Kevin Durant can criticize the media. That's perfectly fine. But when you attack their credibility, that's kind
of like attacking someone's basketball skills.
Nobody said anything about his basketball skills.
It's the same thing.
So nobody said anything about their basketball skills.
If Stephen A. said,
if he attacked his basketball skills, he would have had.
Never lead his team to a championship. That's criticizing.
Did anybody say that?
I'm just saying. We would not be talking about the same way we doing if you challenge someone's journalism.
No, but I'm saying nobody ever said that about Kevin Durant.
I know, but
people have said that about Chris Paul. So if Chris Paul's like, But if Chris Paul responds to media and saying y'all don't know what you're talking about because it takes a team to win a championship,
It's definitely
I understand
justified.
that. That's different. But nobody has said that about Kevin Durant.
But just because somebody hasn't doesn't mean he has a different feel for the media.
No,
think about it. Probably we don't know about the stuff he had in high school, stuff he had in Texas.
Yeah, at Texas, people were counting him out and stuff. And then even Skip Bayless was the one person that was supporting him. Then when Skip Bayless said Russell Westbrook takes too many shots, Kevin Durant came for Skip Bayless, so he didn't know he was talking about with basketball. When Skip Bayless was talking in favor of Kevin Durant, when Skip Bayless was Kevin Durant's one of his number one supporters coming out of Texas.
I mean, just because you're a supporter doesn't mean you like what he says, though. Because you're coming for his teammate. How does that?
You're coming for his teammate.
Think about the way Kevin Durant was raised, though.
No, but here's the thing: you're coming for his teammate, but you don't. You can say, Skip, you know what? I disagree with you. I don't think you're right on this one. But then when you say somebody doesn't know anything about basketball, Rashad, you're discrediting their basketball intellect.
That's a stretch.
No, but that's not something you say.
It's just how they are.
That's not something you say. You don't, maybe that's just how they are. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. You can't just say you can't say that's how they are.
You can't turn a thug into a gentleman, something like that.
No, but so if Marshawn Lynch doesn't want to talk to me, you just say that's just how he is. You get
he's
fined
not
for it.
talking.
He does get fined for it, but he's not going to change what he is.
Evidently, he has because he's not getting no more fines for it. He talks now.
He actually did get a fine.
He talks now.
The NFC Championship game, he got a fine.
He got a fine for that. But I'm saying you realize
a year later.
You realize this season he talks now. This season, you realize
he doesn't talk that much,
bro. But he talks. He gives the journalists answers. You realize that, right? And not everybody is Marshawn Lynch. Not every player is as star as Kevin Durant or Marshawn Lynch. So you're setting an example of players that come after the line to say, "Oh, it's us against the media." Not every player is as great as.
No,
but I'm saying you set an example.
In the league, their role models is not probably Kevin Durant.
No, it's not. But I'm not saying. But there are young kids that come into the league that might act the same way just because they're not. Kobe Bryant's not a role model. Kevin Durant's not his role model. But there's a young player who sees Kevin Durant as his role model. It was like, well, if that's how Kevin Durant's feeling, that's how I'm feeling. That's just how people are. That's how kids are. That's how young people are. They're very influenced.
Impressionable.
Yeah, they're impressionable. And if you if they see their role model acting a certain way, they might be inclined to act the same way. Recently, that's why they started the Players Tribune. So it's a way for the players to express themselves around the media, so they don't have to go through the media. But then when you're directly showing hate to the media, what's that telling everybody? It just gives the media a bad stigma that they don't always deserve. Stephen A. Smith did not. We're talking about just the Stephen A. Smith thing. He didn't deserve that. The other media members, as far as Kevin Durant goes, they didn't deserve that. For everything good that they've said about Kevin Durant, I don't know where he's getting the bad. Everything that you see on ESPN, on NBA TV, everything is just positive stuff about Kevin Durant. People always say that if Kevin Durant was healthy this past season, they probably would have went to the finals. People say 2 years ago, if Russell Westbrook was healthy, they would have went to the finals. Where is anything bad about that, about Kevin Durant? The only bad person I've heard stuff about from that team is Scott Brooks and Russell Westbrook. That is it. Kevin Durant's had nothing but great media attention and great publicity. That's all. So where does he get off saying people don't know anything about basketball? People don't know. People need the players do deserve more.
That's a
He deserves more worried about his teammates more so than you worry about himself.
But I'm saying that has nothing to do with your teammates.
I mean,
when it comes to All-Star voting or MVP awards voting, that has nothing to do with that. Those are individual awards. And he's right. Players do deserve more saying that because you guys play in and out. But don't just discredit the media by saying they don't know basketball. When you say people don't know something, that's like saying that's a
shot at their entire job.
That's a shot at what they're meant to do. And that's a shot at their intelligence. That's like somebody in music saying, "Oh, Kevin Durant, don't talk about music because you're not a musician. You don't know music because you're not a musician." But he could have been listening to music or a certain genre of music since he's young, so he feels like he knows something about it. So just because you're in a certain profession doesn't mean you can't know something about somebody else's profession, especially if your job is to cover that other profession. So where do you get out telling people they don't know? Of course, they're not going to see it from your perspective because you're a player. You're in it. We're not going to see musician's lifestyle. We don't know how Michael Jackson lived. We don't know how Elvis lived. We don't know how exactly those guys lived in the music, but we cover them so you get a good idea of how it is. You're not ever in their shoes, but you cover what it's like in their shoes. That's what your job is. So for him to attack somebody's credibility and pretty much try and discredit and pretty much land-based the source that they got their information from, it's wrong. You can't do that. And especially you don't know where he got his information from. Somebody in your circle, you might think didn't tell him nothing, might have said something, bro. Somebody might have said something. You might want to especially if your mom was just on the show not long ago, and Stephen A. Smith said he had just talked to Kevin Durant periodically throughout this year, and you're saying you don't talk to him. How does that make you look?
That's really messed up.
But see, probably what he meant by talking to him doesn't mean like interaction, but talk about sit down interview type things.
He said he just doesn't talk. He said none of us talk to him at all. So y'all don't talk to him whatsoever. But Stephen A. Smith said his mom talks to him. His brother Tony talked to him. Kevin Durant has talked to him throughout the. He talks to him when he's covering. He's at the Thunder games. I'm just like, hey, of course, maybe you don't exchange checks on the daily. Like, you're not best friends, but I'm pretty sure if you don't talk to somebody at all, like I don't talk to Kevin Durant. When I met Kevin Durant, he was cool, but I don't talk to him, so I can't go and put out a story about Kevin Durant and say, oh, it's entirely true, because I don't talk to him. I don't talk to people around him. But like Khalid had said earlier, you don't need to talk to somebody to report on them. All you need is a source that's talk to the person, that's gotten information about the person. You can talk to a team manager. You can talk to people there. They will tell you more. They know more so much about the team. Teammates will tell you stuff about a player. And then you're just like, that's why Stephen A. Smith said he will, if he goes back and starts working in arenas again, like reporting in arenas like he used to, he would find stuff out quicker than
in 10 minutes. Then
he would find out, making 50 phone calls. So it's like, when that's somebody's job, it's just ridiculous because you can't. The media puts you helped you get where you want to go. Your basketball ability got you there in totality, but the media helped your star grow. Yeah, the media helped your star grow, and they're just pretty much putting it on a global scale for everybody to see. If you were just a nice basketball player with no media, I'm pretty sure the endorsements would be coming out as much as fast as they were. When the media covers a bad situation that happens in the NFL or NBA, why do you think endorsements are lost so fast? When and Adrian Peterson abused his child, why do you think he lost his endorsement so fast? Because the media covered it. It's just a lot of hoy. That's exactly what it is.